This is breaking news from WDSU.
In the last hour, there was a murder in Harvey. It happened in the 2200 block of Manhattan. We do have a crew on the way to the scene, and we'll bring you more when we get it, but that's all we have at this hour. In the last hour, a murder in Harvey at the 2200 block of Manhattan. More coming up as the information comes into our newsroom. It is a new year and time to take a new look at what you'll owe for 2010, especially if you receive money from BP. One tax expert says as much as a third of your claim could be owed back to the federal government. WDSU anchor Rachel Wolf crunched the numbers. She's live in the studio with what you can expect. Rachel?
Well, Uncle Sam wants you to pay your taxes. And if you were like thousands of Gulf Coast residents who received payments from BP for losses, your tax liability is going to be higher than usual.
20-year-old Kyle Kikuchi is a busboy at Fausto's Bistro. Last summer, he filed a claim for lost wages during the BP oil spill and received $2,500. He's not worried, though, about filing his 2010 tax return.
I wanted to figure out what my taxes were before I even touched the money.
But he may be in the minority, says CPA Ted Stacy.
Actually, I suspect that most people haven't even thought about it, which is the bigger problem.
Stacy says some of his clients made more off of renting their boats out to BP than they would typically make on their own, so it will be important to crunch the numbers.
This may be the time for them to seek professional help.
How much you pay depends on what kind of claim you filed.
But if you were paid for lost wages or you were paid for lost income from your business, something like that, that's going to be ordinary income. So that's going to be taxed at the highest rate you pay. It could be as high as 35% for federal and maybe another 5% for state. So, on the other hand, if you receive the payment for damages to your property, you may have little or no income.
He knows some folks will try to slide by and avoid paying taxes altogether, but this is not the year to do it.
But if they paid you for missing income, wages, or whatever, they're likely going to send a notice to the IRS about how much they paid you.
I'm sure. Why wouldn't they? I mean, they gotta keep tabs on everything, make sure everything goes right.
Absolutely. For more information, please go to the IRS's website. There you can see which payments are taxable and not taxable. And it's also available in English and Vietnamese to help some of those fishermen. It's important to note, though, that this was not declared a disaster, this oil spill, so tax rules for disasters do not apply in this tax situation, Scott.
And just a reminder, if you are itemizing your deductions, you do have to wait until mid to late February this year to file your return. An estimated 160,000 people have gotten improper payments in connection with disasters since 2005. And a government audit says FEMA has not tried to recover some $643 million in improper payments. The Department of Homeland Security says FEMA just needs to sign off on the process so that money can be collected. The state auditor looked at the books for the Recovery School District and found millions of dollars of equipment unaccounted for, even more missing or stolen, and late payments to vendors doing business with the RSD. The report was released on the Legislative Auditor's website. RSD Superintendent Paul Vallis says the audit is a cumulative report, and many of the problems are from before he took over.
There were certainly a lot of property accountability issues. Now, of course, we come in our first school year being the 2007 year, and you know, I think we've done a good job recovering most of that property, but some of that property may never be recovered and secured. So it's going to be.
The superintendent believes the overall the operations and property management in RSD have improved in the past few years because of more oversight and internal controls in place. He says the audit findings represent just a small part of the district's total inventory. Funeral services are set for Friday for a longtime high-ranking member of the New Orleans Police Department. Tony Canatella, the former deputy superintendent, died last week, and visitation for him is Friday morning from 8:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. at Lake Lawn Funeral Home. Then a memorial mass begins at 1:30 at St. Joseph's Catholic Church. Canatella spent 42 years with the NOPD. He died last week after a long battle with cancer. A former teacher at Archbishop Rummel High School is accused of sexual abuse. Brother Raymond Rose taught at Rummel for 2 years, from 1975 to 1976, then from 1980 to 1981. He's accused of sexually abusing 19 students in California, Minnesota, North Dakota, and Wisconsin since the 1960s. No one from Rummel has accused Rose of anything, but Catholic leaders are asking anyone who might have been sexually abused by Rose to come forward.
Well, any time that you deal with any type of sexual abuse, it's a very serious issue. That's why, once again, we're opening up and saying, if we can help in any way, please let us know.
Anyone who claims to be a victim can contact Brother David Sinatier at 504-914-0569 or call the Victims Assistance Coordinator of the Archdiocese of New Orleans at 861-6253. New steps by the Obama administration to help get some oil companies drilling once again. The White House says 13 companies who suspended drilling because of the administration's moratorium can skip the environmental reviews that are usually required by law. But the companies must meet the new stricter drilling safety regulations. Former Governor Edwin Edwards will be released to a halfway house sometime this month, but nobody's saying exactly when that will happen. Edwards' daughter says her father will be assigned to the halfway house for 6 months, but he will not speak to the media during that time because of prison policies. Edwards has spent more than 8 years in federal prison. In an effort to stop violence in Jefferson Parish, the parish is holding a gun buyback event on Saturday. You can get up to $200 for turning in weapons.
This provides a conduit and an opportunity for them to turn the weapons over to the JPSO and the Gun Buyback Committee with no questions asked.
The gun buyback will be Saturday at 9 a.m. There will be locations on both sides of the river at the Second Zion Church in Marrero and the Marine Baptist Church in Metairie. The old Universal Furniture Building in Central City will soon become Restaurant Depot. The 70,000 square foot building will hold thousands of items, including fresh food, produce, paper, supplies, and restaurant equipment. More than 4,400 restaurants have already signed up for the members-only membership. It's set to open in early February. A Louisiana National Guard unit gets a big send-off before a deployment to Iraq. About 115 soldiers will be on a one-year mission to train Iraqi police. The Guard's 239th Military Police Company said farewell to family and friends at a special ceremony at Zoar Baptist Church in Baton Rouge. Some people might have been late to work this morning because of their iPhones. We'll tell you what caused the glitch and what's being done about it.
Plus, how much will it cost all of you Saints fans to travel to Seattle to get to see this weekend's playoff game? And are tickets still available? That story coming up after the break.
And it was sunshine, blue skies today. That won't be the case tomorrow. I'll let you know when you'll need your umbrella.
Probably heard about the federal unemployment extension, but guess what? It's not really an extension. In fact, some people might actually see an even smaller unemployment check. Find out who's in for a big cut Tuesday on WDSU News This Morning.
At WDSU, we make a promise to this community every day.
Give an idea of just how strong these storms are.
When we work day and night to keep you ahead of severe weather.
We are under a tornado watch for the entire area of southeast Louisiana, and you can see why with that.
When we put the I-Team to work for you.
Do you think anybody just says, hey, I'm not turning this over, I don't want them to see what we're doing?
Absolutely.
We really are on your side.
That's the promise we make.
And the promise we keep each and every day. The Saints are in the playoffs for the second straight year, but with the game being played across the country, how many Saints fans will actually make that trip to Seattle? WDSU News reporter Travers Mackel is live at 10 with what the experts say. Travers?
Well, Scott, many ticket brokers say there are still plenty of good tickets available, and while fans are excited, some seem to be overlooking the Seahawks when it comes to travel. Like thousands in the area, Tim Carter is a diehard Saints fan. He says he bleeds black and gold, and on this day, he's buying black and gold merchandise.
Well, you know, I'm making sure I get me something that's going to keep me warm when we either go to Chicago. I think it's going to be Atlanta.
But this week's playoff game is in Seattle. The Saints have to win to continue playing in either Atlanta or Chicago. Tim says he's going to skip Washington State, mainly because of the expensive plane tickets. Most cost over $500 and long travel times. It'll take you close to 6 hours to fly there.
That played a little bit into it because I was looking forward to going to St. Louis because that's a shorter ride.
Ticket brokers in New Orleans say there are still plenty of good seats available in Seattle. The popular site StubHub has dozens of seats available, some tickets going for as low as $71. The owner of this store says sales have been good, but it seems people are expecting the Saints to make a big playoff push.
I think people are kind of looking at, let's pass on Seattle because we can drive. It's more feasible to go to the other route if we would play in Chicago or we would play in Atlanta. So I think they might be holding off a little bit on that and not going all the way out to Seattle because it is a long trip.
And as always, team and league officials always encourage people who are going to Seattle to buy your tickets from a reputable ticket broker or website. Scott?
And remember, the Saints playoff game can be seen right here on WDSU. Our coverage begins from the Pacific Northwest on Thursday. Also, our 3-hour pregame show airs Saturday before the Saints-Seahawks game from noon until 3 o'clock. The game kicks off at 3:30. Coming up in less than 10 minutes in sports, Fletcher has reaction on what Saints players say about this upcoming playoff game. The annual Sugar Bowl second line parade marched through the quarter today. Arkansas and Ohio State fans lined the streets as the parade wound from Pat O's to Arno's Restaurant. There's the St. Aug Marching 100, getting them in the New Orleans mood. Cheerleaders from each school were there as well. The Sugar Bowl kicks off tomorrow night at the Superdome at 7:30. Another popular New Orleans bar has banned smoking. DBA in the Marigny is joining dozens of others that have already made the move to go smoke-free. WDSU reporter Sydney Chewin spoke to bar-goers and has their reaction. Sydney?
Scott, Tom Thayer, the owner of DBA, says he decided to go smoke-free because there were days he didn't want to go to work and be subjected to the secondhand smoke. He also says he's doing it for the health of his staff, musicians, and customers. Now that DBA's has gone smoke-free, the air has cleared, but bartender Megan McCracken has mixed feelings about the ban.
I'm glad that we're doing this, but because we're choosing to do this and not everyone is doing it, we're going to lose some customers, which has me a little bit sad today.
Owner Tom Thayer is confident the move won't hurt business.
Most cities have no smoking. The difference between New Orleans and many other cities is that you can bring your drink outside with you and smoke.
In fact, DBA's is joining the likes of others who are smoke-free, like Maison right up the street. Jana Morgan stepped out for a smoke break before her performance.
As a singer, obviously I smoke, but I don't like secondhand smoke, which is ironic. I don't like when someone's smoking in front of me and that secondhand smoke is going in my face as I'm trying to take a breath to sing.
McCracken acknowledges that the secondhand smoke does affect her well-being.
If you work in this business, your clothes and your hair, and you feel terrible. I mean, you really do feel terrible from being steeped in it all night long.
And although smoke doesn't keep James Moises from going out, this new ban is still good news for him.
As someone who doesn't smoke, it's nice when some bars actually are stepping forward and making it a smoke-free zone. It makes going out and having drinks and listening to music a little bit more enjoyable.
Louisiana restaurants banned smoking in 2007, and Thayer says he believes a statewide ban on smoking indoors is not too far away. Scott?
And more than 40 bars in the state have also decided to go smoke-free. For a full list of them, go to our website, WDSU.com, and click the As Seen on WDSU section. Making headlines around America tonight, Republicans take the majority in the U.S. House in 2 days. And as Steve Handelsman explains, they're promising to immediately begin reversing some of the decisions Democrats have made over the past 2 years.
The first GOP target will be what Republicans call Obamacare, the plan the president signed into law last March. With all of his new members, a 49-seat Republican majority, new House Speaker John Boehner can win a floor vote to repeal this month. And it could be close in the Senate, where 23 Democrats are up for re-election next year.
People like Ben Nelson in Nebraska, Joe Manchin in West Virginia, these are conservative states, and they're going to be looking, those voters are going to be looking at how these people are going to be voting.
President Obama vows to veto any repeal, but Republicans vow to cut off funds for the health care law. At the same time, keep your eyes on this Republican, Darrell Issa of California. He'll chair the powerful House Oversight Committee and vows to investigate the Obama bailout, Fannie and Freddie, and the Obama stimulus plan, forcing White House officials to testify. Democrats are worried.
Bringing in people, taking them through depositions, ruining their reputations.
And some Republicans worry the new Congress won't focus enough on jobs.
If the projection to the public, as in the media, if the projection is every time you look on TV, there's a Republican screaming at President Obama, that is not going to play well.
So both sides will play up bipartisanship like they did last month. But on all the big issues, a battle royal is about to begin. From Capitol Hill, I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News.
Apple says it fixed a glitch that caused some iPhone users to oversleep over the weekend. Users who set their iPhone alarm for a single wake-up rather than recurring found the alarm didn't go off once the calendar rolled over to 2011. The glitch affected people who use the iPhone 4 or people who downloaded the most recent operating system. In California, a 30-mile stretch of interstate is back open after blowing snow shut it down yesterday. But there is ice and snow still causing problems in that area. One person said it took 2 hours to travel 5 miles, and some people even had to sleep in their cars. Also, some snow in Las Vegas. Forecasters said there would not be any accumulation near the hotels and casinos, but the neighborhood several miles away got an inch or more of snow. And some crazy weather out in the west, and that's coming this way, but hopefully not as crazy for us when it gets here.
No, it won't be as crazy. It's just going to give us a little bit of rain. That's going to be as we get into late Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, let me show you what's happening right now, and it's really nice out. It's cloudy, it's cool, and you know what? We did have a few sprinkles, but cloudy and chilly for this evening. Tomorrow, rain chances begin to go up. It's not going to be heavy rain. I really see this more as showers. And then getting into Tuesday night and Wednesday, I think we'll have a higher chance of rain then. Weather is looking nice Thursday through Saturday. I'm not really seeing any big chance of freezing temperatures for the North Shore. Maybe Saturday morning in the low 30s then. Here is a look at our satellite and watch this little band of clouds. Did you see it? That's when we had the Virga. That's when rain falls and evaporates before it hits the ground. We also had a few sprinkles over in Slidell. It was a trace of rain, and in Lake Vista, a report that the sidewalks got damp. All right. Here is a look at our sun setting. Watch the clouds. Right here, I'm seeing a little bit of Virga. There's the rain falling. It's evaporating. And watch as I put it into motion. You can see some of these little wisps of the clouds hanging down. That's actually the rain. There it is right there. And then just a beautiful sky. How much rain did we get? Well, over in Slidell, it was a trace of rain. The bigger problem was this morning when we had a low temperature of 26 degrees. That is really cold. All right, let's look at what's happening right now. Very pleasant, 42 degrees at Bogalusa, 45 at Hammond, 42 in Slidell, 47 at Gulfport. Just into the metro area, temperatures here near 50 to the upper 40s. The winds are not very strong, calm to very light. The dew points are beginning to go up. That's the measure of moisture in the air. One of the reasons why we got a little bit of rain. We can also check and see, look just to our north, few little sprinkles showing up over here near Tylertown. All of that is moving to the east. Don't forget, you can go to WDSU.com, click on Interactive Radar, and there you can see where it is raining right now. Here is a look at our overnight lows. We're going to be in the mid to the upper 30s for the North Shore, South Shore in the low to the mid 40s. With more clouds moving in, that tends to prevent the temperatures from dropping as much overnight. Big change from this morning when we had that low of 26 in Slidell. High temperatures tomorrow, low 60s. You can see the clouds moving in, that chance of rain. The average high temperature is 62, so we're going to be right there at the average. What we're watching to the west is this upper level low, which is moving to the east. As it does, we'll pick up more of a southerly flow. And that's why as we get in Tuesday, particularly late Tuesday into Wednesday, I see our rain chances increasing. The better chance will be at about 6 Wednesday morning. Now, I know a lot of you would like to go to the Saints game in Seattle, and you may be wondering what's going to happen. We'll have a northwest wind. It's going to be breezy, outdoor stadium. Rain chances are beginning to increase, temperature 40 to 43. I do want to give you this heads up. As we get into Sunday, particularly Sunday night, the real potential that we could have some strong storms developing. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Here is a look at my exact cast, and tomorrow we do have a chance of rain, more on the order of showers, highs low 60s. Wednesday, we're in the mid 60s. Cooler Thursday as we get into Saturday, and I think the weather looks really nice. Perhaps a light freeze on the North Shore on Saturday, just low 30s.
All right. Thank you, Margaret.
You're welcome.
In Slidell, recycling is back for the first time in 3 years. Coastal waste trucks are once again picking up recyclables. All customers got that big green recycling container. Everybody's monthly bill now jumps $2.78 whether they choose to recycle or not.
Got to look out for our future. Yeah, I got my first grandchild on the way, so looking out for him or her.
Go green.
Go green, exactly.
But everything goes up. That's just part of the game, you know. And if this, like I say, if this helps the environment, man, well, I don't care if this costs $75. I'm all for this.
How hard is the paint?
The containers delivered to homes came with a sticker indicating what day of the week recycling pickup occurs. If you'd like to donate your Christmas tree to help protect local wetlands, make sure your tree is on the curb by Thursday. Crews throughout South Louisiana, including in Orleans, Jefferson, St. Bernard, and St. Tammany, will collect trees from January 6th through the 8th. Be sure you take off all the lights, ornaments, tinsel, and everything else. Just leave the tree. St. Tammany has 2 tree drop-off sites at the Parish Fairgrounds in Covington and the former Parish Levee Board former Parish Levee Board building on Military Road near Slidell. All right, here we go. The Saints banged up, headed into the playoffs because of key injuries. The team has a new player on the roster. We'll tell you about the newest old member of the Black and Gold ahead in sports.
LSU head football coach Les Miles says running back Stephen Ridley has been cleared to play against Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl this Friday. Ridley led the Tigers in rushing with 1,042 yards and 14 touchdowns during the regular season. Ridley's eligibility had been in doubt since Miles said on December 22nd that the running back could miss the bowl game because of an unspecified one-time academic violation. Miles calls the NCAA's ruling great news and says Ridley's teammates were pleased to learn of his reinstatement after their practice in Dallas today. Now to the Saints running back situation and Deshaun Wynn. The agent for the veteran says his client has signed with the Saints. Wynn was with the team in training camp before being released. Wynn coming on board could mean Pierre Thomas and Chris Ivory are more banged up than thought. Those two, plus several other key Saints players, guys like tight end Jimmy Graham, safety Malcolm Jenkins, were injured or did not play in Sunday's season finale against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ivory was even reportedly seen walking on crutches and wearing a walking boot in the locker room this afternoon.
I won't have anything to say in regards to any of these players right now regarding injuries. I was optimistic today with the news in general, and you know, we'll get them up to speed and get them healthy as quick as possible.
And WDSU will be live in Seattle with the Saints. Our coverage begins from the Pacific Northwest on Thursday. We'll also have a 3-hour pregame show airing Saturday before the Saints-Seahawks game, which of course can be seen right here on WDSU. Our show goes from noon to 3. Kickoff is at 3:30. Ohio State coach Jim Tressel and Arkansas coach Bobby Petrino posed in front of the Sugar Bowl trophy today, smiling for the cameras and mumbling pleasantries. Surely there was no mention of the New Year's Day games. That would have wiped the grin right off of Jim Tressel's face. The Big Ten is still stinging from an embarrassing performance on the first day of 2011 when its teams went 0-5 in bowl games.
The win does 2 things for us. It sends our seniors out with a special team. You know, could be considered one of the best teams at the University of Arkansas. Finish in the top 5 somewhere probably. And then it starts next season off the right way.
Arkansas has enough challenge of its own. It's what someone else did or didn't do is probably going to have very little effect on how we do against Arkansas. And our guys have been preparing hard to compete against a great team, which happens to be from the SEC.
The Hornets looking to extend their winning streak to 3 games tonight in the Hive against the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers seem to be giving the Hornets fits this year. They beat them badly earlier this season. They were up big in this game, but the Hornets have been tough at home. Chris Paul with the miss, but David West is so good. 17 points, 8 rebounds for the big power forward. Then Chris Paul sealing the deal, so to say. CP3 with 15 points. The Hornets go on to win tonight. The final score, 84-77. Hornets back in action in the arena Wednesday night against the Golden State Warriors. Let's put Scott Walker on the spot.
Sure.
Does Arkansas beat Ohio State?
Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartily.
Why they're 3.5-point favorites, I'll never know. Until the Big Ten proves they can win big bowl games against the SEC, they should never be favored.
I had another question for you.
Sure.
Quickly.
Did we eat up all our time?
Saints beat Seattle, of course.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Double digits. Stay informed with WDSU anytime, anywhere. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and WDSU.com. All right, let's get a final look at that exact cast with Margaret. Will tomorrow be as pretty as today?
No.
Okay.
But you know, it's still going to be a nice day, I always think. Here is a look overnight. It's going to be cloudy and cool. North Shore in the low to the mid to the upper 30s. Kill, you could drop down to 32. On the South Shore, low temperatures are going to be ranging from the low to the mid 40s. So just get ready. Slight chance of rain tomorrow with highs low 60s.
Grab the umbrella on the way to work in the
Just
morning.
keep it handy.
Thanks, Margaret. Stay informed with WDSU anytime, anywhere on WDSU.com. Tonight's show's next. Have a great night.
A good investigative story often begins with a moment of trust.
WDSU team.
Trust built with inside sources.
Can anyone confirm that?
Reliable contacts. The kind of trust that makes people believe that telling the truth can make a difference.
Sources confirm. I-team sources and I-team source says.
That's why people with a story to tell trust the I-Team. And why WDSU is the station you trust to be on your side.